everyone. In this video, we have a Precon upgrade for Gimbal, Gremlin Prodigy, at the helm of the Tinker Time Precon Commander deck for March of the Machine. If you want to check out this entire stream, you can find it above. Come hang out on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Set notifications. That way you know when we go live. There are 1,000 other MTG creators that have made upgrades for the March of the Machine Precons, so thank you for choosing to watch this one. Enjoy the stream cut.
Jam Community Tinker Time March of the Machine Commander. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to go through the whole deck card by card. Some will, some are obvious and we'll skip over. Some will chop if it's not the strategy we want. Then we'll go back and make our adds. And we'll goldfish a little bit at the end and feel how it plays and see if there's any further fine-tuning we would suggest long-term.
That's right. That's right.
So, Jake, you want to read Gimbal Gremlin Prodigy to us here?
Well, hold on. Why don't you do it? Because I'm putting this in the description really quick right now for the Casma thing. Thank you.
Gimbal Gremlin Prodigy is red, blue, green, 2 other for a 4/4 Gremlin Artificer. It says artifact creatures you control have trample. So, makes me want to play big artifact creatures that don't already have trample.
Okie doke.
Also says at the beginning of your end step, you create a 0/0 red gremlin artifact creature token, put X +1/+1 counters on it. So we're placing +1/+1 counters. Any cards that are like when you place counters that are +1, place more. I also really love already Ozolith, obviously, cards like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you create at the beginning of your end step, you create the 0/0, you put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of differently named artifact tokens you control.
All right, so Gimbal is essentially this gremlin that is just surrounded by a ton of trinkets.
He's all over the place, right? Yeah. Well, artifact tokens too. So we got to create like food, treasure, clue is like off the rip what I'm thinking, and then we go from there.
Yep.
So
I can see that.
Gilded Goose, ETBs create a food. You can sack
really
food.
Quick. Before we jump in, let's just say this for anybody who's watching. If you see one of these cards in the video and you're like, why is it highlighted in red? The reason is because the card does not exist yet. It's a brand new card that is printed either in this or in the new set. Is that correct?
100%. Yep, that's exactly right.
Just making sure. So if you're watching this now and you're watching the playback, you're like, those cards weren't highlighted in red. Later on, it might be because in the future and now the cards are added on. So yeah. Just wanted to clear that up.
Absolutely. Were there any other caveats you gave, since these will be 2 separate cuts potentially? Were there any other caveats you had in the first one that we would repeat right here?
No, just
you said something good at the beginning.
Take all these cuts with a grain of salt. We're going to be cutting cards based on what we think is going to be synergy, and we'll take community suggestions, and then we're also going to what was the one other thing that I said?
Is there some banging outside, or is Annie just doing something right now?
Annie's doing something right now.
No worries.
Yeah, she's cleaning, and I told her she could exist, but she was like just very loud there for me.
She was like, I will exist, but I am doing my hammering tonight.
That's right. No, it's all good. It's all good.
No, yeah, I'm just kidding. She's fine. I was just asking if it was the door. Yeah, so no, I think you should take these changes as religion. We're going to make the ultimate Tinker Time deck here, and if you disagree with us, you're wrong.
Oh, you know what? For the sake of these upgrade videos, we're not going way over the top as far as budget.
Yeah.
The last one that we just did came in at about $325, so we're going to try to keep that right around there. We'll say $350 is the absolute max on any of these decks.
Love that. Differently named artifact tokens you control. That is so interesting. Okay, Gilded Goose creates a food. I think off the rip it's fine. It can create more food. It's all about a different type of token being created. Academy Manufactor, this is just giving us extra value off our stuff. I think that this is exactly the kind of card we want to run in here.
Yeah.
This is the other type of effect I was thinking of, Jake, was Felden of the Third Path. It says create a token that's a copy of target creature card in your graveyard, except it's an artifact in addition. So this is creating named tokens that literally aren't going to be replicated anywhere on any card. So we get another +1 counter on it if we're copying things that aren't on the battlefield.
This to me seems like an auto include.
Yeah.
It's gonna get us. It's gonna play best with our general.
Hedron Detonator is a new card. Whenever an artifact enters a battlefield under your control, it deals a damage to target opponent. Oh, wow. This plus Goblin Extortionist is so annoying. Tap, sack 2 artifacts. Exile the top card of your library. You can play that card this turn. Yeah, this is great. Turns your food tokens into impulse draw when you're like, don't need these food tokens, but I need cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Master of Ethereum. Power toughness equal to number of artifacts you control. That artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. This to me seems small beans in this deck in particular, just because we're trying to make these things so big and have trample. But an additional 1 is never bad, and it's an artifact creature.
I put it to considering. That for me is kind of medium, and we know that a big chunk of our budget is going to go toward a doubling season. I think a doubling season is
hell yeah,
like important.
That's what I want to do. Is I want to dump counters. I want to dump counters on our artifact creatures, really. So the more artifact creatures we control, because remember, he is giving them all trample. So we can make the plan like create tokens, but put +1/+1 counters on artifact creatures, and he happens to also create them.
Matt, that's actually a good note for this deck. This might be the deck for Chief Engineer, where the last one was not.
Yeah. Pain Distributor is a new card. 3 mana for a menacing 2/3 Devil Citizen. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, they create a treasure token. Okay. Whenever an artifact or an opponent controls is put into a graveyard, it deals a damage to that player. So it's giving them treasures, which I really don't like. But it does punish them. But is a treasure token worth a damage to them?
It gets a lot better with any sort of thing that's going to amplify that damage, but this for me is definitely worth heading to considering.
Yeah, this for me is a considering card too. I'm so biased against cards that give other people stuff if we're not directly playing that strategy. Tireless Provisioner is fantastic. It's landfall, create a food or treasure. Tireless Tracker, again, fantastic for this one in particular. Drop a land, create a clue. New card, Cutthroat Negotiator. Jake, you want to read this one? I'm taking a drink of water.
Sure. I'm also making notes from chat as well while you read. Cutthroat Negotiator, 1 red, 1 blue, and 2 other for 4/3. And it has, what is that, parlay? Whenever Cutthroat Negotiator attacks, each player reveals the top card of their library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you create a tap treasure token, then each player draws a card. So you're getting a lot of treasure, and then everybody's drawing. A little bit of group hug there at the end.
Yeah, gives them the card they revealed, basically.
You
get the card too. I don't know if I love this or hate this. I either love this or hate it. I am not medium on this card at all. This is either.
I don't even know why this is in the deck, honestly. I feel like this could go as well.
It's just a new treasure creator.
Right.
This has to do with any tokens at all. Yeah. I think move to considering. I just don't like it.
Here's the thing, God, is that you're getting a ton of treasure if they're revealing a lot of non-land cards.
Oh yeah.
So you have to think about, with the amount of treasure that you're getting and the card that you're getting.
You draw the card as well. Everybody goes up a card.
But you get like a horde of treasure. You have to think like.
But this is a massive ramp.
It is a massive ramp. Maybe that is worth thinking about.
The way I've always done these upgrade videos, Jake, is that if I am halfway, but it's a new card, I leave it in, because
gotta play it, gotta try it. It's
a brand new card. There's some you can just be like, that's a definite no. But if you're medium and you're like, well, I'd have to see how it plays, that's exactly what you should do. Everquill Phoenix in here to make Mutate happen. 2 red, 2 other, 4/4/4. I'm just going to read this one because I know nobody read any of the Mutate cards back in the day. Flying, whenever this creature mutates, create a red artifact token named Feather with pay 1, sack the feather, Return a Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this is just about creating a feather token one time and increasing your passive count for your Gimbal from 3, which you should be able to consistently hit with this deck. That should be the aim, is food, treasure, clue. And so it gives you a 4th one. It also can give something flying. I mean, it can mutate onto your Gremlin artifact creature token and give something flying. I'm kind of medium on this one.
Yeah.
This is great. PN Kieran enters the battlefield, creates 2 Thopters. We're automatically up. Thopters is another one we could look at to be a easy 4th type of token. Pay 3, sack an artifact, deals 2 to any target. Yeah, I think that's good for this.
I think one thing that we should definitely search on Scryfall is token, artifact, and just see how many different artifact tokens exist.
For sure.
Yeah.
Rashmi and Ragavan. Whenever you cast your first spell during each of your turns, exile the top card of opponent's library and create a treasure. Then you can cast the exile card without paying its mana cost. If it's a spell with mana value less than or equal to the number of artifacts you control. If you don't cast it, you can cast it. It's good.
It can stay.
Yeah, I think it's good. 4 mana for a trampling 4/4. New card. At the beginning of combat on your turn, bolster X, where X is the number of differently named artifact tokens you control. So it's the same strategy. And we get to put additional +1/+1 counters on the battlefield equal to the different number of artifact tokens we got. When it deals,
seems good.
When this deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of target artifact that player controls. Whoa, this is very, 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 very good.
Well, yeah, that it works really well with the deck, and that just seems like a good way to go.
Yeah. Vidalcan Humiliator is a card I've cut a couple of times from different artifact decks, but whenever it attacks, if you control 3 or more artifacts, creatures your opponents control lose all abilities and have base power toughness 1/1 until end of turn. It's good. For some reason, I always end up cutting it because it itself has to do the attacking. But we're combining with red here. There's nothing to say that we can't give a little haste action coming in. What do you think of Vidalcan Humiliator?
I think chat is going ham with some really good suggestions.
Yeah, we're gonna do suggestions, chat. Hold them. We gotta get through the.
No, I just don't want to miss some of these. Like D Hammer has some good ones. Keto has some good ones. When it enters the battlefield, create 2. When it attacks, this is the Humiliator, right? That's what we're on.
Yeah.
When it attacks, if you control 3 or more artifacts, creatures your opponents control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn.
It's fine. It has to attack.
I think this card is fantastic with Pestilence. Holy shit.
For sure. Not gonna have black in this deck, though. The fact that
it does it to the whole team, no, but it could be in a Temur deck that runs Pestilence because on the attack, after you attack, once the attack trigger happens, do Pestilence, clear their board, get through. This card is cool, man. Yeah, it's a cool card. I don't know.
I've ended up cutting it from 2 decks recently just because it has to attack, and it always ends up kind of being that first card out. But I don't mind leaving it in here. We're definitely gonna have.
Oh yeah, Pyrohemia. That's a good. Yeah, that's a good card that would play nicely with it.
Yeah, there's a ton of red stuff that could. Yeah, that's actually really nice. Whirler Rogue.
Goblin. Sharpshooter plays well with that card too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does. Whirler Rogue enters the battlefield, creates 2 Thopters, and you can tap 2 untapped artifacts you control to make a creature unblockable. It's everywhere we want to be. It's a fantastic card. Sharding Sphinx. Shards all over us. 4/4. Whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you can create a 1/1 Thopter artifact creature token with flying.
It's just expensive for a flying 4/4.
Dude, this is another one I always end up cutting from these types of decks.
I would cut it.
I'm going to move it to considering. Shimmer Dragon, 4 more artifacts. It has hexproof. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. They can be summoning sick, and you draw a card. It's good. This has refilled my hand in multiple decks like this very quickly.
Sure.
Thopter Assembly with the new art. Is this art completely new? Oh no, it was in dual decks. First reprint since dual decks. I've never seen this art though. Beginning of your upkeep, if you control no Thopters, you return it, you create 5 Thopters. It's fine. I think there's better cards, but I think it's fine. Hellkite Igniter, Flyer, Haste, gets +X/+O, where X is the number of artifacts you control for 2 mana, and you can dump a lot into that. It's very expensive. Very expensive, but...
It is very expensive, but it's essentially a win condition. I mean, you do a couple activations on that, and that could be the game.
Yep, 100%. The only thing with this one is that it doesn't come with trample, and our thing is giving artifact creatures trample. I'm actually shocked that they didn't include a couple of just big dumb artifact creatures in here that didn't have trample but get way better with trample. But they really focused on... Gimbal's gonna make the artifact tokens. You just need to put different types of tokens onto the battlefield around him.
There's the junk blinder that we put in the last deck.
Yep, it's good. It's a good card.
Mm-hmm.
Workshop Elders. Artifact creatures you control have flying is just like worth it by itself. It is 7 mana to cast this, but at the beginning of combat on your turn, you can turn a non-creature artifact into a 0/0 and put 4 counters on it. It's got flying as well. And it wouldn't have Summoning Sickness if it had already been in the battlefield. I think that's how that would work.
It seems okay.
Yeah. You want to move that to considering? This is one I end up cutting sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because it's 7. I end up cutting from the top of my stuff. Rise and Shine. This is all about the overload. Turn each non-creature artifact. This is a win condition card. This is 6 mana. I'm going to win the game this turn, or at least try really, really hard. Because all your treasures, all your foods, all your clues, all your thopters, all your...
It should all add up.
Well, not your thopters. It's non-creature artifacts, but that should be enough to kill everybody. 3 mana sorcery speed destruction, create a treasure token. I think we can do better. It's only here because it's got that secondary synergy. We'll leave it for now. Root out, same kind of thing here. It's only on here because it also happens to create a token that's decent to the whole strategy.
It being sorcery speed kind of sucks.
Yeah. Create a treasure, create a clue. Fiery Confluence. This feels like they were like, we need some removal. What if we not reprint it in a while? Let's reprint Fiery Confluence. Oh,
well, that card also plays very nicely with the one blue wizard that we were just talking about.
We could turn this into a backdoor Vidalcan Humiliator deck, right?
Just that's the deck, dude. I think that's the deck.
In it and have a bunch of 1 damage creators and a bunch of creature tutors.
The deck is always get Vidalcan Humiliator.
Yeah,
always.
Dude. Worldly Tutor for Vidalcan Humiliator pass.
Yes. Okay, well, clearly we know Worldly needs to go in here for
dude.
Vidalcan
If we're doing a backdoor Lieutenant style deck, we gotta have the Worldly Tutor. Path of the Animist is a new card. 4 mana for search your library for up to 2 basics. Put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Then, starting with you, each player votes for Planeswalker Chaos. Oh, this is like the Planeswalker. Okay, so every deck is going to have some kind of voting chaos thing. So what we're doing for these viewer is we are going to take out the Plane Chase stuff. Put it in your sideboard. Keep it alongside the deck. If y'all want to play Plane Chase, slot it back in for whatever card you want to take out. But for our purposes, we're going to upgrade these like we're just going to play Commander and not Plane Chase Commander. Echo Storm, whenever you cast it, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone. And then create it. It's all about creating a token that's copy of target artifact. So you copy it for each time you've cast your commander. So you should be casting this and creating 2 tokens minimum, right? If you cast your commander once.
I'm really medium on this, dude. Really medium. I'm not a big fan. I do like duplicate, though. I just thought about that.
Copy of target artifact.
I mean, like, sure, it could target like a soul ring. What's nice is it adds to the gimbal thing.
Yeah, correct. That's got to be the only reason it's in here, right? Is because it adds to the gimbal thing. And you would think you've cast your commander 1 time pretty much every single game. And so you get 2 tokens. You get 2 artifacts copied. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's not a new card. It's interesting in this strategy is what I'm saying. Fiery Confluence. Are we keeping this in here? Destroy target artifact. You can choose the same mode more than once. Destroy 3 artifacts.
I don't think so. I don't like it very much.
It's just fine. Reverse Engineer has Improvise, which means we can tap artifacts for 1 colorless to cast this. It seems really good for this deck. That's always going to cast 2. It's like this card. I'm in love with this card. In these types of decks, dude, I have never cast this for more than 1 mana. And the same is going to be true of this. You're going to be able to tap food tokens or clue tokens or thopters or whatever. You can tap creature artifacts for this. And it's always going to be 2 blue, draw 3. It's fantastic. You're never going to hate seeing that. Artistry is like a better version of the card that we were looking at, 6 mana, choose 1 or both, create a token that's a copy of target artifact, create a token that's a copy of target artifact of target creature. Oh wow, except it's an artifact in addition to its
This
other
is
types.
definitely worth it. Yeah.
That's what we like.
Merchant Dock Hand, that's a good card too.
Brass's Bounty, if you want to go crazy. 7 mana, create a bunch of treasures. 1 for each land you control. It's the fine kind of card.
Let's go back to that one again.
7 mana for each land you control, create a treasure token.
I would cut that. That seems like...
I'm with you, man. I feel like this is more low to the ground style deck where we want to be trying to create as many different types of tokens. And I think that'll come out when we goldfish it here in a second. Dance with Calamity is one of the new cards, and this is one of my favorite MTG cards that's ever been printed. It's like playing blackjack at the table. It's fantastic. 1 red, 7 others, shuffle your library. As many times as you choose, you can exile the top card of your library. If the total mana value of all the cards you've exiled is 13 or less, you can cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana costs. This is just like high risk, high reward. Don't go over 13 or you don't get to do anything.
I think this is always going to do 2 cards between 2 and 3.
Yeah, I could see that.
Otherwise, it doesn't get played.
Well, land skip, because that doesn't add to the total mana value. So if you drop a land, you get to keep going.
But it's cast.
Right? But no, I'm saying it doesn't count against your exiled this way as 13 or less. You just get to go until you've hit as close as you want to get. You know,
and you may reveal, right? That's what it says. You may exile the top card of your library as many times as you choose. So you have to do it all at once, right?
No. You go card by card. I saw a bunch of people clarifying this card on Twitter.
Okay, so you go card by card.
It's just a fun card. It really does have nothing to do with the deck. It is a fun card. It's just a really fun card. I think that we cut it from this upgrade just to make this deck what we want it to be. But it is an
interesting card.
It's one of my favorite new cards.
Oh god, it is silly in a Cheerios deck. D-Hammer, that's really funny.
Oh wow, yeah. Reality Shift, top tier removal. Chaos Warp, top tier removal. Stroke of Genius, medium card draw. Vampires
move to considering.
Yeah.
That's definitely move to considering.
Vampire's Vengeance deals 2 to each. Oh my god, another card that plays with Vidalcan Humiliator. Maybe Vidalcan Humiliator is the backdoor commander of this deck.
That's the card, bro. That's the card.
Blood tokens. Oh, dude, write down blood tokens. That's another. Lots of good options. Playables that create blood tokens. That's a good way to go for different types of cards. Different types of tokens.
Okay.
2 damage to each non-vampire creature. I don't think this is where we want to be, but I do think I think this was put in here to be like, yo dog, go find some blood token cards. You who are upgrading this.
Yeah.
I think this goes to considering though. This is just fantastic in this deck. Return all non-token creatures to their owner's hands. Oh baby. Gimbal's creating an army and you're returning everything that's not your army. Counter target spell, create X treasure tokens. What do we think of this card, chat? Spell Swindle, yes or no on Spell Swindle?
I've always been kind of low on it because of how much it costs.
Is that Ragavan in the art? It is. I know this is the original art of the Spell Swindle. Yeah. But I've never noticed that Ragavan has been in the back there. I guess it could just be any monkey from that set. Any goblin.
Dude. I would cut this. I would rather have a better counter spell.
Agreed. Struggle deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control, and then each player shuffles their graveyard into their library.
Cut it.
This must be a hose card. Sometimes, chat, you'll see this when you're looking, especially at a bigger group of precons. This is a 5 group with this set. You'll see cards like this where you're like, what is happening here? But what they've done is they put some hose cards against the other decks, and this is probably in here because each player shuffles their graveyard into their library. Might be effect they think they needed. But it's
CJ
definitely
says
a
check
cut.
his price, check his price. Yeah, we just did it. Just did it.
Masterful Replication is create 2 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature tokens or choose target artifact you control. Each other artifact you control becomes a copy of that artifact until end of turn.
This is instant speed,
Yeah.
6 power. I don't hate it.
I need to
and
make
it plays
sure.
with Gimbal.
Differently named artifact tokens. Yeah, it does. It's not non-creature artifacts. Yeah, so
Yeah, it's artifact tokens. So
Yeah,
the
that's
golems
good.
are nice.
the golems actually play, and that bottom one seems like you could get a lot of shenanigans. Jake, look!
The card made it. It creates a actually it's probably
Four-
worth cutting.
Force
It doesn't create an artifact beast, it just creates a token beast.
create a 4/4 green beast creature token.
It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
worth playing. I would
Well,
cut it.
Creature tokens you control have flying for our big guys that Gimbal's creating for just 2 mana. I mean, that's kind of the same thing we would go with Intangible Virtue, right? It's
I mean, it is kind of sexy because you can convert for 4 mana a
food token.
food token into a 4/4. It is our preview card, which is really funny.
This
ages ago.
This was the very first card that we ever previewed on the channel. Was Modern Horizons 2 Combine Chrysalis. We gotta run it. Bloodforge Battle Axe. This is great. It creates tokens. It gets crazy. We put it on our
It creates a
token
token
creatures.
that's named itself, so it
Right.
plays with Gimbal.
Oh yeah. Soul Ring, Arcane, Combine. Fractured Power Stone is one we've been cutting. Like we've said, the planar stuff is stuff that we don't really care about. Signet. Artifact deck makes sense. Inspiring Statuary gives non-artifact spells we control improvise, so it lowers the cost. We'll see at the end. I mean, this is kind of like a medium one for me, but
Sure.
we'll see at the end how many non-artifact spells we actually have in the deck. We might want to not have, a lot of non-artifacts. Replicating Ring makes token copies of itself after 8 or more counters. I don't think this is really what we want to
that
do.
can go. You can go. I would
Sky-
rather pick something else that makes better, easier to create
Right.
tokens.
So this is one that scales up with the game. It's a 3
This
mana.
card definitely needs to be in here.
Yeah, 3 mana, add a mana of any color rock, or 6 mana, create 3 of these onto the battlefield.
Busted. Super
And they're
good.
tokens, so it plays with Gimbal. It's really good. This is the Planner Die card again. Move to sideboard.
Ooh, wait, engineers. I think the Phyrexian Mites are artifacts.
Ooh. We're gonna search artifact token for sure. Enters the battlefield, destroy target permanent. This is for the copy shenanigans.
Yeah, it's for the copy shenanigans, and we're in colors that if we want to destroy target permanent, we could put a Beast Within in here, and we could do it for 3 instead of 7.
We'll move it to considering. Enchantments. Curse of Opulence is fantastic for this. It creates treasure tokens, but calls them something else. Love it.
Ooh, a gold token. Yeah, that's right.
Gear per Aether Grid. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Deals 1 to any target. That's so good in this deck, dude. So good. All those food, all those clues, everything. Thopters. It all turns into little pingers. Imprison in the Moon is top tier removal. Weirding Wood enters the battlefield. You investigate. Enchanted Land has add 2 mana of any color. It's interesting ramping this way. Interesting going this route with ramp.
I would rather just play Cultivate, honestly, and just get 2 lands out of the deck.
Thopter
That's
Spiner.
probably what I. It's a fine card.
Yeah,
it's a fine card.
This is fine in that deck. And then Aid from the Cow. 5 mana. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield, reveal the top card. If it's a permanent, you can put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, you may put it on the bottom. We're going to be triggering this a lot because Revolt, we're going to be sacrificing tokens and stuff, but I still just don't like... I would rather have, like, Rishkar's Expertise and draw cards equal to a creature's power and play a free spell.
Right.
This is one where I get it, but I just don't like it. And then we got the lands. 38 lands is a fine number to build with here. Jake.
And we'll come back to those.
80 cards We got 20 to play with. We'll revisit lands. You want to go through?
Yeah, let's go through some stuff
list?
first.
Yep.
Yeah, I wrote some stuff down.
Let's get it going.
Let's actually...
You want to search artifact tokens first?
Yeah, let's search artifact tokens, and then we'll go through...
We're going to search Oracle text for create artifact token. And we're going to sort it EDH track rank. We'll start there. Then we'll sort date to get the newer stuff in.
Yeah, so, I mean, dockside seems like...
Yeah, it's a bunch of our budget. But we can, I mean, it's absolutely
we can cut it if it seems like... We could cut it if it seems like we're using up too much budget.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Stormkiln Artist. We cast a copy, an instant or sorcery. We create a treasure. Goldspan attacks or becomes the target. You create a treasure. I thought this deck already had Resculpt in it. Oh, it's got the other one. It's got the other one.
Wurmcoil seems good.
Wurmcoil,
and it's not too much budget.
No.
It's got 2 tokens that are different.
That's exactly where I want to be. I mean, just in general, big artifact token creatures. Big artifact creatures. Because remember, y'all, it just gives all of our artifact creatures trample passively. And so a big dumper like Wurmcoil Engine here, all of a sudden getting trample. Ooh, baby. A trampling Wurmcoil Engine, which it looks like it should have anyway. Whatever.
Yeah, it seems good.
Mirror Battlesphere is actually one in here that I really like. It creates mirror tokens. It's a big attacker. Giving it trample is ridiculous. You can make it even bigger.
Yeah. It's definitely worth considering for sure.
Big dumper artifact creatures. Oh my god, a deck where we could arguably run Oko in it. Cast an artifact, you create a Thopter. Sai seems like we want him in here, right?
Yeah, we can at least put him in considering so we can look at him.
Yeah. Let's go.
What does Trading Post make?
Oh, dude, goat tokens. This is fucking perfect.
No, but they're not artifact. They need to be artifact.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they have to be an artifact token.
All right, ring we cut. This creates treasures whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped. I don't know that that's where we want to be. Loyal Apprentice creates a Thopter. Like this, if we have our commander, it creates a 1/1 Thopter with flying and it gains haste until end of turn. We don't care so much about the haste, but getting a free Thopter onto the battlefield if we've got our commander is not terrible. Saheeli is in this deck? We didn't even...
There you go. Mirrored and Besieged.
Yeah. Whenever you cast an artifact, create a 1/1 mirror.
Creates a mirror.
Yes, dude. Cast an instant or
Hangerback.
sorcery. This should be in here, right? Create an XX colorless construct. That's a token.
I would probably do that. Where X is that spell's mana value. Yeah. Seems good.
Urza's just obviously, y'all, ETBs, it creates a construct. It's different and it's big and it makes your artifacts tap for 1. I mean, this has got to go in there. It's just doing everything you want to do.
Hangerback creates Thopters.
Yep. Not terrible.
What does Gadrak create? Treasure?
Gadrak creates treasure. Yo, dude. Destroy target artifact, create sapperlings. This is way better than that other destruction stuff
but they're
that
not,
we saw.
They're not artifacts.
Son of a bitch. I'm thinking so token.
Yeah, artifact token. Like Phyrexian Triniform, for example, might be worth it.
Yeah. Triplicate Titan. Dies create a 3
golem.
They're all golems, so it doesn't create 3 differently named ones.
Pretty expensive.
By Hammer of Porphyros, turn our extra lands into an extra counter on all of our things.
Sack a land, put a 3/3 golem.
I don't think we should run that.
No.
Freyalise creates 1/1 green elf druid creature tokens that aren't artifacts. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, if this is untapped, that creature's controller creates a 1/1 mirror artifact creature token. So at 2 mana, is that worth it for us, even though it gives them?
Non-token creature.
Everybody, they cast a non-token, they get a 1/1 mirror. Quantum, good to see you. Catch you. Adrix and Nev. Yeah, I mean, that's next, right? We don't have to go too deep down this list. I think we've... Okay, so Triniform, it creates golems. It's got Encore. It Yeah, it's kind of eh. Create a token
Medium.
that's a copy of target
what does
artifact or
Karn make?
creature. Karn makes constructs.
Karn makes constructs. That's right.
Not bad. Not bad. This creates 2/1 blue Phyrexian Mirror, so that's a different name. Beginning of combat on your turn.
Hornet Cannon. All right, let's cover some of chat's stuff. I know that chat has a ton of stuff that I've written down.
I want to talk about these two real fast, and then we can do that.
Okay, yeah.
Mirror works. Whenever a non-token artifact enters, you can pay 2 if you do create a token that's a copy of it. It's at 5, but it seems like it could be really strong. It's a possible cut. And then Stolen Identity. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature. And then it has Cipher. Yeah, it's kind of medium. And then exile Mecha Titan and 4 other artifact creatures you control. No, that's not what we want. Okay, yeah, let's look at... Oh, this makes spawns. Sack a creature, put a charge counter on it, pay 1, remove 2 charge counters, create a 2/2 spawn artifact creature token.
Oh, that's a different one. That's different.
Different type of artifact token.
Yeah, let's put it in. We can even move it to considering.
Yeah. Let's start it in considering. All right. Chat suggestion time. Here we go.
All right, here. Let's do some stuff.
Yeah.
I saw Chief Engineer pop up.
Chief Engie.
What do we
Artifact
think of
spells
this?
you cast have convoke. I think it's good. We're going to be
pretty
making
good,
a lot of like Thopters and stuff.
Right.
I think that it should go in and we can go cut it if we don't have enough artifact spells, because we're doing a lot of artifact token creation off of non-artifact spells. Something to consider though.
Yeah. Retrofitter.
Oh, Retrofitter is fantastic. Creates servos. Servo artifact creature token for just 2. That's perfect.
Yep. I also had from Keto Dollhouse.
What kind of token does this create? Create a token that's a copy of the exiled creature from your graveyard, except it's a construct, and it gets +1/+1 for each construct you control.
Interesting. What do you think of it?
It gets better and better, but...
I mean, if you exile the worm coil from the yard and then it comes in, it still dies as a worm coil.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I think it could be really good. I think it could be good.
Anarchomancer.
Archaeomancer. Return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand.
No, I think the one on the other side. Archaeomender.
Oh, Archaeomender. Enters the battlefield, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, for 3 mana, that's actually not that bad. Again, I'm gonna put it in considering, because again, it's gonna depend on how many artifacts we're actually running in the deck. I know this is an artifact deck, but we've got a lot of non-artifacts making these artifacts right now.
All right, then we had Tamio's Journal.
Anarchomancer. Oh, each spell you cast that's red or green costs 1 less to cast. Yeah, I mean, it's generically good, but we really want to try and lean into our synergies here rather than just play like generically. Yeah, you should play these cards.
Electromancer was the other one from Keto, so Electromancer is going to do the same thing just for red and blue.
Yeah. They're good. Put them in there if you want, for sure.
Then we had Tamio's Journal.
Tamio's makes clues.
Yeah, it makes
at every
clues.
upkeep, and you can sack 3 clues to search your library for a card. My problem with this card is always it's been 5 and it happens at the beginning of your upkeep, so you don't do until your upkeep. I'm medium on this one.
Okay, type in Tawnos.
I don't know. Oh, Tawnos is the older thing. Yeah, dude. Wait, which one? Toymaker or Urza's Apprentice?
Copy, target, activated, or trigger. Wait, hold on. Tawnos, go back. Toymaker.
Okay, so we gotta cast beasts or birds. We can copy them, except the copy's an artifact. So
no,
just not enough beasts or birds.
Then we had Pyrohemia. That was if we wanted to play along that one idea. Duplicant.
Duplicants, yeah, very generically good artifact creature. I think that plays well in this deck. It becomes a copy. Power, toughness, and creature types are the last creature card exiled with, and it's still a shapeshifter. It's going to get trampled because of our commander, and we get to exile a creature when it ETBs. I think this is good for this deck.
It's not bad. Merchant Dockhand. Oh, it isn't a token, though.
That's
a duplicate.
True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Let's just stick with this. Let's stick with the plan. I like that. Merchant's Dockhand. Pay 4. Tap it. Tap X untapped artifacts. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand. The rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
Low to the ground.
Pay
Ability
4,
costs a little bit to do, but
yeah, it's like pay 4, tap it, draw a card. Oh, pay 4, tap it, tap an artifact, draw a card. But you can tap more artifacts and dig down for the specific thing you need.
If your board is loaded, yeah.
Well,
it's interesting.
That, and not only if your board is loaded, but there've been many times in Commander games where I'm like, I just need a way to dig down and find my answer. Or I'm using every resource I have to dig down into my library. It's got potential.
Hornet Cannon.
I saw some people in chat talking about Hornet Cannon. What is this? Pay 4. Pay 3, tap it, put a 1/1 colorless insect artifact creature token with flying and haste named Hornet. Destroy it at the beginning of the next end step.
Well, it plays with Gimbal. It is an artifact.
You could stack
insect.
your triggers because his ability triggers at the end step, and so does this to get rid of that token. But you can stack them so that it still sees the insect before the insect dies.
What I hate about this is we're paying 4 for it, and then we're paying 3 to use the ability
for a 1/1 that doesn't even have Death Touch. Like I can't swing and get a guaranteed. Is it 7 mana for a 1/1? Yes, K-Spice, you read that correctly. What if I told you it has haste?
Sadly, I think that's a cut. Even though I do like that it makes a something that I haven't seen before. Other than that, I did have a note about blood tokens. So we should look at stuff that makes blood tokens.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Chat, also, I'll continue making notes if there's something that I missed.
K-Spice said, okay, we know the floor. Okay. So this is not where we want to be. We've only got 18
I would like something
results.
that's like a... Yeah.
6 mana. When it or another vampire enters the battlefield under your control, it fights up to one target creature an opponent controls. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Enforcer dies, create a blood token.
So it comes in, it's going to deal 6 to something, 4/6, and it creates a blood token.
Right.
I don't hate that, dude. Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not terrible. We'll put it in.
It does cost 6.
Yeah, but it's going to fight and kill one thing.
Saheeli. Saheeli, dude.
Saheeli's in there already.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Enters the battlefield, create a blood token for each opponent you have. Blood tokens you control are equipment in addition to their other types and have equipped creature gets +2/+0 and equipped 2. Yeah, gives us something. Gives us just a little insurance on that token type.
Yeah.
Gain control of a target creature. When it deals combat damage, create a blood token. That's pretty cool. +1/+0, +1/+0, and has whenever it deals combat damage, create a blood token.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, me either.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. Enters the battlefield, create 2 blood tokens for 5. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it.
No, what does that artifact do? Enters the battlefield, creates a blood token, and you can sacrifice a blood token, and you can have it become a 3/3 vampire artifact creature token with haste until end of turn. So that actually works both ways.
Oh, wait, no, it does not a token creature. Artifact creature. Oh, but it doesn't need to be non-token. Jeez. Yeah, differently named artifacts you control is what it says, right?
Wait, let me read Gimbal one more time here. It reads, at the beginning of your end step, create a 0/0 red gremlin artifact creature token. Put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of differently named artifact tokens you control.
Artifact tokens. Okay, so this
doesn't It doesn't work. Good catch. Good catch.
So I can't keep the order of those words in my mind. That's a good question. Representative Joint said, what clue generators do you have? And that's a good question because we are looking at blood, which is arguably a worse token type. So we can check on our clue token. Oh no, it's investigate, right? That's what we need to search for. Investigate. There we go. Okay. Ethereal Investigator ETBs investigate X times, where X is the number of opponents you have, and whenever you draw your second card, you create a 1/1 white spirit creature token, not an artifact. But 4 mana, 2/3 flyer that creates 3 clues max, 1 clue minimum. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you investigate. And then sack X clues. Target opponent reveals top X cards. You can put a non-land permanent with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield. That actually seems pretty good. Non-token creature. I'm going to put this in considering. How many non-token creatures do we run, I wonder? Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, investigate. That seems good. Whenever you investigate for the first time, investigate additionally. I don't think we have enough to do that with.
No. Definitely not.
Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, investigate. Whenever you sack a clue, put a 1/1 onto the battlefield.
That's pretty good.
I hate that it's only... Let's put it in considering so we can go back through. But non-token creature, like our whole thing is trying to create... I just don't know how many creatures we have on the in the deck right now. We need to look. We cut this. We're not going to run a 5-mana counter spell, even though we do investigate 3 times. What about a magnifying glass? It just says pay for investigate. Now, this is good. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, untap target creature, then investigate. That seems good. This is a reprint of the Stranger Things secret lair.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, untap target creature and investigate. Yeah, that has to be in there, right? We're going to be casting multiple spells on turns very, very often.
Ryan says Arterial Alchemy, member for 4 months. Ryan, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll check it out. Let's take a look at it. That's fine. Arterial Alchemy.
When this enters the battlefield, investigate. As long as you control a token, it gets +2/+0. Seems like small beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're down as far as we want to be on these. Arterial Alchemy. We already got it in the deck. We're on the same page.
Oh, we did put that in, right? Okay.
All right, last couple of suggestions here, and then we're going to make some cuts, and then we're going to very quickly goldfish this, and then we'll go. When it deals combat damage to a player, create a 0/1 goblin construct. But it creates it under... Cool. Well, it creates it under that player's control. It doesn't help us.
Wait, hold on. Chat, what's that card from Zendikar back in the day that makes the 2 big artifact heads? What is that? Dude. What is the one? It makes like 6 12s. What was that card? Zendikar.
This is so good in this deck, dude. Each player creates a colorless artifact token named Banana. And then when Kibo attacks, defending player sacks an artifact. And whenever an artifact an opponent controls is put into a graveyard, you put a +1/+1 counter on each ape or monkey you control.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. It makes a banana. Yes. Tuk Tuk. No, it's not Tuk Tuk. Idol of Oblivion? Is that it? No, damn it. I'm going to find it myself.
Farid is potentially good. It's just we got to know how many artifacts we're running in there that aren't tokens. You know, you don't want to go counter to your own strategy, and we are making a lot of token artifacts, and Farid wants us to make non-tokens. But I do like that it creates an artifact token named Scrap. That is very good. Idol of Oblivion is an absolute include in this deck, if it's not already. Pay 2, you tap it, draw a card. If you've created a token this turn, you got to run it.
What is that? I have to find this card now that I'm thinking
What
about
card
it.
are we wondering about?
It's a card from Zendikar, and it makes these two giant like artifact heads. And I have to remember what it is. I have to find it. I'm looking through the whole set right now.
I think we looked at Tuk Tuk, y'all. Oh, we got multiple Tuk Tuks. Here we go. When it dies, create Tuk Tuk to return a legendary 5/5 colorless goblin golem artifact creature token. Yeah. Creates a different token name.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
Kind of fun.
Kind of fun.
I'm gonna see where we're at. Oh, we're at 97. We still need 3 more cards. Wow, I thought we were already gonna be cutting.
Why don't we put in some removal? Removal's always good. We did cut some stuff.
Yeah.
We should look at our cuts to inform what we should add.
We've got 22 in considering right now.
Yeah.
And then we've also got yeah. I haven't been putting stuff in the sideboard yet. What is that? I want to know what this card is that you have found.
Type in something like Stone Idol Trap and see if anything comes up.
Oh,
type
yeah.
in,
that makes... I remember this card.
Type in Trap. That.
Create a 6/12 colorless construct artifact creature token with trample onto the battlefield. Exile it at the beginning of your next end step.
It costs 1 less to cast. Oh, no. It's lame.
Yeah, it's kind of medium.
Makes me sad. Makes me sad. That's all right. I almost had an idea.
You have fantastic ideas all of the time.
Had one, dude.
All right, let's look at... Okay, so we did put some cards that we were like, yeah, never gonna happen. But that's the sideboard. Let's look at considering. We got room for 3 more cards. So Psy Master Thopterist. We are running...
We haven't looked at lands yet, but we'll probably do a similar thing with lands. Oh, doubling season. Did we want doubling season?
Oh yeah,
we didn't even type that one in, and we have the budget for it.
Double token. Is that a phrase that we should search? When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue. No. Put X counters on it. No. Whenever double the +1/+1 counters on it. Actually, that's really good for our... I mean, you play it for 3, pay equip 2. When equipped creature attacks, double the number of +1 counters on it. All of our things enters with a ton of +1 counters already. Yeah, no. This isn't what we wanted to search.
You did add doubling season?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at 269. We went from 180 to 269.
Okay.
Most of the budget resides here, ladies and gentlemen.
Fun fact, don't buy that before Commander Masters, please.
No, please do not.
And also, we should probably talk about that set someday.
Maybe Wednesday. Let me just make sure. Twice tokens. Here we go. If an effect would put 1 or more tokens onto the battlefield under your control, it puts twice of those tokens on the battlefield instead. That plays off our commander. That plays off all of our strategy. I mean, if 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead.
It seems good.
Seems good. If 1 or more tokens would be put on your battlefield, twice that many of those tokens are put on the battlefield instead. And then if +1/+1 counters will be placed on a creature, twice that many counters are being placed instead.
I would cut one of them that doesn't have that second effect. So maybe Parallel Lives. That's very expensive, and then bring Primal Vigor in over it.
Okay.
If Primal Vigor is only doing 1/2 of it, then let's bring him, or Parallel Lives is only doing 1/2, then we'll bring in Primal Vigor.
Same thing. Would you? Well, this and this is the same effect, so we should probably run the enchantment over the creature, right? It is a big budget difference.
Yeah, it is a big budget difference. So maybe
341. We're still good, and we're at 100
no, because we need to do the land upgrade really quick.
Yeah.
So I would cut for budget. We'll bring Adrix and Nev and
Adrix is going to be our budget version of Parallel Lives.
If you have Parallel Lives, then run that over Adrix.
Run it. Yeah, now we got $50 to work with here. Okay. So let's go.
Let's just cut. We know we're going to cut at least 2 of each of the basics, so we can just get rid of those right out the gate.
I mean, those will all get adjusted. Evolving Wilds will cut. Terramorphic will ace. Do you want to run the bounce lands in here? Snarl's Reveal, Myriad Landscape. Search for up to 2. ETB's tapped. Game trail is reveal. Same with Snarl. Frontier, yes.
Yeah, unwinding clock does seem good.
Smash.
Make a note. Make a note. Because we can only do so much.
All right, we're cutting some at growth chamber. Type
Okay,
win.
so let's pick. Let's get our one triome. We'll get our Temur triome.
Yeah.
We'll get a fetch land, and then we'll bring in our shocks, and let's see what that does for our budget.
Rogue's
We'll probably
Passage seems relevant in this deck because we're trying to make these big, beefy trample tokens. They do get
True.
trample, so I guess it's not super relevant. We could put Fabled Passage in these budget upgrades, Jake, as just a budget fetch land. It's
Yeah.
only $4.
Yeah.
We need to keep that in mind.
All right, so we should probably
Shocks.
run stomping, breeding, steam vents.
That's 30. Yeah, that's $50. Those 3 shocks is $50. So just keep that in mind as you're building this deck, chat. If you want to spend the money on those shocks, do it. They're fantastic. You'll never regret having them, but that can be any lands until you figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the thing about the lands is you really do have to decide the budget that you're within. You know,
Right.
You could go all the way up to duels if you want. The land base is really where, because we live in such an age of reprints, that the land base is really where a lot of the money gets eaten up quickly. You know,
There's our
we
Ketria.
could cut the doubling season and then have a lot bigger, land package. You know,
Right.
we could do that. Yeah, but doubling season works so well with our commander. You really have to make the choice for yourself.
Things
Oh
like
yeah,
Spire
Togo
Garden.
creates rocks. That's right.
Oh,
That's so
that's
true.
That's an actual good call there. Oh look, we're back up to 100 on our lands already. Yeah, 38. We got there. We added the Triome. We added Fabled Passage. We added the 3 shocks. And I added Rockfall Vale, which is 2 or more other lands, which these are always just fantastic. Go find the others in that
Other
color as well.
lands that you can consider are the ones that are from Mirage as well,
Yeah.
which enter tapped and then fetch a specific land type, which will allow you to go grab your shocks. They're a little bit slower fetch lands, obviously, because they enter tapped, but if you're in a casual circle, those can be a really good workaround for not wanting to spend the money on fetch lands. But do keep in mind as well that Modern Horizons 2 absolutely nuked the price on all of the enemy fetch lands. So if you missed the boat on picking those up, you had such a long time, and I believe some of the prices of those are still very, very low. Vandal Blast is always good inclusion too.
I added Togo just because it's exactly where we want to be. It's creating that fourth type of artifact creature or artifact token. I think Chief
rock.
Engineer artifact spells you cast have Convoke. I mean, we have
There aren't that many of
1,
them.
2,
I
3
think
there,
that could go.
and then we've got 14 here, so it's like less than
Oh.
20 hits.
Oh, well, that's kind of relevant. It's kind of relevant, but it could probably go, honestly.
Yeah, we need 1 cut. That gets us to 100. We're at 375, so we're about $25 over the budget, but honestly, cut 1 shock and you're there.
Or cut doubling season and then go ham on your mana base.
Right, seriously. You could also cut doubling season, which is almost $100. We're mostly blue. Look at that. We should reweigh just a little bit to blue on our basics, which we already are. So we're good.
Yeah. Not bad.
Let's take this into playtest and see where we're at.
Let's do it. For
Okay.
me, where I would tighten up before we playtest is I would definitely tighten up lands. That's probably, and that's just speaking as somebody who has all the shocks, who has all the fetches. That's where I would tighten up the deck the most. I would.
Did you want to brag about
really
having all
like
the shocks and fetches? Is that why you said that?
No, I'm just saying that what's nice about these decks is the main deck. If you watch the first cut that we just did for the Convoke deck, the main decks don't change very much. I would at least want to play those a couple times to see how the decks work
For sure.
before making any of these big cuts.
Yeah, and that's what
But
we really
the mana
recommend.
base is really like, if you want to tighten the deck, get it focused, get it like tuned up, I would definitely cut. Someone was saying they don't like the Scrylands. You could cut a lot of the tap stuff, make the deck faster right out the gate just by going ham on the mana base. So
I would probably keep this opening hand. We got Bloodforged Battle Axe, Rashmi and Ragavan, Wormcoil Engine, and then 4 lands. So we can go Steam Vents into play. Well, we'll draw our card first. Perplexing Test, it's our instant speed return. So this is like a, we hate seeing that on turn 2. I mean, on turn 1, honestly.
yeah, we don't have a lot of ramp spells, which is something to think about being in green too, is getting a couple you know, like a Farseek, that kind of stuff.
So much of our synergies are with artifacts that I think they were intended. That's why all the signets are in here instead of, you know, rampant growth and stuff like that.
Sure. They're like, look, just because it has green doesn't mean you need to use ramp.
Yeah.
Use some mana rocks this time.
To synergies.
Okay.
Leans to synergies. Next turn, that comes into play tapped. Obviously, we wouldn't need the mana. Next turn, we draw a card. We have a, oh, nice. We get a little removal going. Here, I think we stay open. Honestly, like, this is irrelevant until we've got creatures on the battlefield. We don't want it to get aced. We'd rather stay open here. Let's say that somebody played a really sweaty creature and we were just like, all right, we're getting that out of here right now. So we went ahead and used that and we tapped our mana on our opponent's turn. So we go to our next turn, we get Metallurgic Summonings. Orchard comes down. We don't have a turn 3 play, unfortunately.
You could just get the axe out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
efficient.
Yeah, I guess at this point we could.
I mean, if they want to ace that with the removal.
Sure. We got a ton of artifacts in this deck that they're going to wish they had removed instead. So that's fine. You know, I'm happy with that. Play that out just to do something. And then untap. We go to next turn. Retrofitter Foundry is a very interesting card here because we do need tokens for our... Oh, artifact creature token. Jake, it counts itself. I don't know why I haven't thought of that. But
yeah, it does.
You would need a +1/+1 at least. So 4/4s are going to be the pretty much the base of these if we can get enough treasure food clue onto the battlefield. That's pretty cool. So here we just gotta go with Rashmi Ragavan here, right? Retrofitter Foundry is going to start creating us servos immediately, which is relevant to our entire...
I mean, you could pay 1 and then stay up for the EOT to create a token with it if you wanted to go Foundry.
Yeah,
and then you could go... Yeah.
But are we going to, like, this being a new card and it being a card that generates value over time, you know, is this going to be a card that we either... I feel like this is a card where we have to make a choice right now because it's very possible that this gets stuck in our hand if we don't get it on the battlefield now.
It'll be hard to tell the power level of this card goldfishing the way we are.
Right.
We don't really know what we're going to get, but sure, play it like we'll play it as a 2/4.
Yeah, whenever you cast your first spell during each of your turns, exile the top card. I'm assuming that's not counting itself because it had to be on the battlefield and it's not seeing any spells being cast. You exile the top card and create a treasure token, then you can cast it. And then if you don't spend it, you can cast it. So it's out there now. We're good to go. We go to our next turn. We draw Stand Step War Riders. We don't have a ton of artifact tokens yet, so this isn't really where we want to be. We don't have a 5th land, which is a huge bummer here. Huge bummer. But you know what? When we cast a spell, we get to exile the top and create a treasure token. So like you said, we're not going to really like exile the top. We can cast it. And we could just say we blanked this turn.
Sure.
We've got this open to play a servo. We could put the Bloodforged Battle Axe on a servo. We still got the mana to do that. Have a 3/1 blocker.
Yeah, it's types of tokens, yes.
Right. Yeah, it sucks we don't have any types of token. Well, now we know we would get a treasure, right? Because we cast a first spell with Rashmi and Ragavan on the battlefield.
Sure.
So we're back to 4 mana here. Yeah, I think that's the best we can do. Obviously, you're working with Mana Screw here, so you look at the next card, and it is not a land yet again. Yeah, and so that's how it would go if you're getting Mana Screwed.
Let's run it back. Let's start over.
Yep.
Let's run it. All right, we got one lander. All right, let's take our maul.
All right.
Better. The tireless tracker could get good. Oh, the dock side is nice.
But we're not necessarily going to want to play that on turn 2. And it's another one that's hard to tell. But, I mean, this is a... Versus going to 6, I would probably keep this.
Yeah, sure. Let's run it.
Yeah, Zachariah, I agree. That last play test was running slow. That's kind of what we were feeling, too. Let's run it. Draw a card. Oh, wow. Let's just play Exotic Orchard out and hope that we have an opponent that's got a red mana so that we can play our turn 1 Curse of Opulence. Whenever an enchanted player's attack, create a gold token. So we choose one of our opponents to just absolutely call out right at the beginning of the game. Next turn. This is going to enter tapped, unfortunately. But we are going to get to play
the Soul Ring.
Soul Ring, I guess.
I don't think anybody would have attacked. It's still very early.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't say we get anything off the curse.
No. Next turn. Oof. How many lands are we running in this? Like 38, right?
Yeah.
And we got Soul Ring and 3 Signets and Arcane Signet. Mana Rocks as well.
What does that one thing do? The idol? Draw a card, activate only.
Only if you created a token this turn. It's good. And it's what would probably save us here. But
let's say we dockside and we find two total.
Perfect. Well, let's do Soul Ring first then, right? So we can draw a card if we're going to dockside. Because we would only be docksiding if we can create at least 1 token. So we get an extra card draw off of it. So that's Soul Ring. And then we read 1 dockside. We got 2 treasures. We're just trying to pull out of a tailspin here. And so we just cast it, even though it's only 2. That's fine. EOT. We tap idle. We draw a card. Jesus. Go to untaps. Oh my god, we drew a land. Are we going to get out of this tailspin? Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Yeah, I think it...
Worm Coil is good, and then I would probably follow up with the General. I would probably, since Worm Coil is going to have, and the General's never going to attack, I would probably just go Worm here.
Yeah.
And let's say go.
So we got to go 1... We got to go 1, 2, 3, Soul Ring 4, 5, and then sack a token.
Yep.
Worm Coil Engine. No token was created this turn. Whenever enchanted player is attacked, I mean, I guess we could just throw the Dockside Extortionist at whatever is targeted with Curse of Opulence. We get a gold token, and we don't really care too much. Let's just say it died. Whatever.
You know, Cross Storm, you play Tracker into land draw. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe Tracker does come down there instead of Worm Coil. I think that Worm Coil coming out isn't bad because even if it gets destroyed, we have 2 tokens left behind. So the Tireless Tracker, I mean, it's not a bad, play either.
Yeah, this was a really good play actually. Now, Dockside Extortionist swings at whoever Curse of Opulence. We get a gold token. We get to Idol of Oblivion because we did it. We got a token this turn. We draw Mirrorworks. I think this card can come out. Whenever another non-token artifact ETBs, you can pay 2, create a token that's a copy of it.
I mean, it would be... it does cost a lot, but like, yeah, if we'd played a Worm Coil after it and paid 2, we're getting double Worm Coil. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you could just play Mirrorworks and then play Tireless Tracker, get 2 Tireless Trackers, right?
Mirrorworks.
Oh no, non-token artifact. No, that needs to. Yeah, that can come out. That can come out.
It's not creating. Let's go next turn. Oh yay, we draw a land. So this is Commander, right? 1, 2, 3. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sure.
Cast Commander. Swing Worm Coil. It's got Trample. We kind of want it to die at this point. We don't really care. Because now we're going to go to our instep. We're going to create this Gremlin 0/0. Look at the token. Aw.
Yep.
How cute is that?
There it is.
And then we put X +1 counters on it, where X is the number of differently named artifact tokens you control. So 1, 2, 3. Right?
Yep.
So
3.
we create a 3/3. But now,
so you get 7 power for 5
yeah. I mean, you go to your next turn
and draw.
And draw. You got Root out that you can play. Destroy an artifact or enchantment and an investigate. So that's a clue token. You know? So
Oh, I see. I see how this could get kind of degenerate.
Yeah.
If you're able to protect the commander.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would definitely go probably like, you know, the usual suspects, Swiftfoot Boots, Lightning Greaves, a couple things to make sure that Gimbal doesn't die once it comes out, because you never need to swing with it. It's just an amazing engine.
You're playing it like it's an enchantment and you want to protect it.
Exactly. And if you do land it with a doubling season, then you're just going to really be living the dream in a big way.
So
I see some people comparing it to Drafna, saying better.
Mirrorworks is one that I do not like in this. And then we can go into any of our considering stuff and just pull out whatever's going to make tokens. Probably Lonus,
yeah, we
right?
could even try. You could even try Dockhand. Dockhand didn't seem like it would have been a bad one. Yeah, Lonus as well is fine.
I like this low mana creates tokens, right? Because we just saw we want tokens on the battlefield, differently named ones.
Yeah.
And so the more kind of stuff that we have in that vein, the more hard they're going to hit. So that's our 100 main deck, 375 upgrade for
a little bit over, but if you did want to get under budget, you could cut the doubling season,
the shocks,
add a couple cheaper options in there.
Whichever way you want to go. Obviously, let us know down in the comments how you would build this. Kind of an interesting take on a little commander there. You got to jump through a lot of hoops to pull off its little thing, but could be good. Could be good.
It could be beef. Could be beef. I like it. I think it's a fun, interesting deck. It's a different kind of thing than what we've seen before. Gimbal does seem like if you protect it, it can get out of hand. But
38 lands.
It's kind of a narrow build. It's kind of specific what you have to do.
Oh yeah.